Okay, let's go ahead and talk about why the circle of fourths is one of your superpowers on guitar. I was saying how other musicians have to memorize certain things in music theory, but there's because of the circle of fourths and the way it shows up on guitar, there's things you don't have to memorize. It's ridiculous how much time I spent learning my 1, 4, and 5 chords. Now, just a quick review if that's brand new to you. We talked about that last time. Whatever our 1 note is, if we build a chord on that note, that we call the 1 chord. So in the key of C, C would be the 1 chord. And then, let's see if I could do this. This is always a little backwards for me. Oh, here it is, C. And then if we played C, D, E, F, F is the 4th note. So if we build a chord on the F note, then that is our 4 chord. I have to go slow because I'm looking at everything kind of backwards. Now we've learned 1, 2, 1. We've learned 1, 7, 1, 1, 3, 1, and 1, 4, 1. And the next thing we're going to learn is 1, 5, 1. In the key of C, G is your 5th scale degree. So if we were to build a chord on this note, it would be our 5 chord. So we have 1 chord. You know, the chord built on this note is 1. Chord built on this note is 4. Chord built on this note is the 5 chord. So C would be the 1 chord, F would be the 4 chord, G would be the 5 chord. Now let's look down here. See how there's a G? And make sure you can see this really good. Okay. We'll talk about this more later. We haven't really got to this yet in the guitar mastery exercises, but if you can just take my word for it that here to here is, this takes you to the 5th scale degree. So in the key of C, F is the 4th scale degree. If we were going up the scale, C, 1, 2, 3, 4. What? I did something wrong. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we could also go, I think this will work for you. 1. I have to sing it an octave higher. 1, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So I hope I just proved to you that that's the 5th scale degree. If it's confusing, just take my word for it that knowing your 1, 4, 5 chord in every key, very important for a musician if you want to be able to play with other people or be at all at ease in a band or transpose or improvise, write songs. Really important to know your 1, 4, 5 in every key. And I did not learn it the easy way. You get to learn it the easy way. I used to look at the circle of 4ths and 5ths. I used to transpose songs, and that's a good thing to do too. But here it is. If I wanted to know my 1, 4, 5 in the key of C, there it is. C, 1, 4, 5. C, F, and G. If I ever forget, it's right there. Let's look over here. What about key of A? If I want to know what my 1, 4, 5 chord is in the key of A, here's my 1. Go up for 4. Go down for 5. So 1, 4, 5 in the key of A is A, D, and E. Key of D is another popular guitar key. So key of D, here's going to be 4, and here's going to be 5. So 1, 4, 5 in the key of D. It's right there. So if you have these notes memorized at the beginning of your guitar, then your guitar can tell you what the chords are, what the 1 chord, 4 chord, and 5 chord is. But here's the really cool thing. Even if you don't know the names of these notes, if you know that this is your 1, you know that's 4. And if you know your chord shapes, in Become a Natural, we actually learn how to build the chord shapes just by knowing where the 1 is. You don't even have to know the names of the chords. You know that how to build a chord on this note how to build a chord in that note, how to build a chord in that note. So you can play it in any key without knowing what the exact notes are. You know, you don't have to memorize that in the key of E flat, the 1 chord is E flat, and the 4 chord is A flat and stuff like that. Did I say that right? E. Yeah. Okay, here's another one. Here's your E chord spelled, or your key of E spelled out. If E is your 1 chord, here's your 4 chord, here's your 5 chord. And you might even recognize that, you know, if you've played a song in the key of E, that you play E, A, and B a lot. Did we miss any of the guitar keys? Let's see. I consider there to be 5. Oh yeah, we did miss one. Key of F happens, you know, it doesn't happen a lot in guitar, but sometimes you do want to play in the key of F. I have found times when I wanted to play in the key of F, and even though I spent like all this time, you know, learning my 1-4-5 chord and so many keys, I mean, even up till a few years ago, I still would have to think and remember and figure out key of F. Like, what's the 1-4-5 chord in the key of F? But it's like, it's right here. Here's the 1 chord. Here's the 4 chord. It's not labeled on this chart, but we'll call it B flat. This is a chart of just the natural notes. So even if you don't know what note you're playing, you know that that is the root of your 4 chord. If I'm in the key of F, 1 chord, 4 chord, B flat, 5 chord, C. So now, you know, it's easy. If I forget my 1-4-5 chord in the key of F, it's right there. Oh yeah, F, B flat, C, and F. So we do, I'm going to check and see. G, D, oh, A. Yeah, we didn't do A. So here's A. If we wanted to play in the key of A, and A is our 1 chord, this note would tell us what our 4 chord would be. How come this isn't working? I'm sorry, this is like upside down to me. Oh yeah, 2nd string bump, right? Okay, so A, D, there's my 4 chord, and there's my 5 chord. So G, D, A, E. Yeah, so we've covered all 6 chords that really in guitar, for a long, long time, those are the only chords you need to memorize, those 6. Because usually what happens in the key, in guitar, is if you're playing in a key that's not G or D or A or E or any of the 6 that I just said, usually you're thinking in that key. So, I mean, you might have the capo on, and you might be playing a, you know, G shape, D shape, C shape. So, being able to operate in those 6 keys is just, I mean, it'll take you pretty much everywhere you ever need to go. And then if you need to go somewhere else, you still, by then you'll have tools to help you with those other keys. And if you learn how to play by relationship, instead of memorizing the key and what's the 1-4-5 and the key of B flat, and you know, which notes are flat in that key, you don't have to. That's the whole idea of the guitar mastery exercises, is that you can play by relationship. You don't have to remember that in the key of E that, you know, there's 4 sharps and what notes are the sharp notes. You don't have to remember that. You just play your E note, and then you know where your 3 is. You know where your 4 and 5 is, and so on. Okay, so that's why the circle of fourths is your superpower when you are a guitarist. And if I think of other reasons, I'll tell them to you later. Okay, bye.